What is up everyone, and welcome to some more F1 22 My Team Career Mode. Last time out we were at the Spanish Grand Prix, and after running pretty well for the whole race in P4, unfortunately the rain came at a very difficult time for us, presented us with a difficult opportunity, and we had to make the decision to pit onto intermediate tyres when everyone else was staying out on the dry tyres, and we ended up managing to overtake a fair amount of people to come back P6. But yeah, it was a little bit disappointing to not come away with that with the 12 points we would have got for fourth. And in doing so, it means that Alex Albon is currently leading the championship by 13 points as we head into Monaco, which is historically one of the most difficult circuits for me on the F1 calendar, if not the most difficult. I've had a number of tough races here, specifically in my first few seasons. It was not very good at all. And since then, you know, we've come to have a podium and, you know, a couple of decent points finishes. But on the whole, I would say that it's probably one of my most like tracks that I struggle with the most on the whole calendar. So I wouldn't be surprised, especially with how much the AI seem improved this season, if I struggle to even make it into Q3. I was going to say Q1. That's it's impossible not to make it into Q1. But yeah, if I struggle to make it into Q3, don't be too surprised. And we'll just see what we can do here. Try and, if we can, limit the amount of points that Albon is going to extend over us in the championship, and see what we can do. Practice-wise, I feel like I could have probably done a bit better than I ended up doing. I finished P16 on the soft compound tyres, and yeah, I was kind of still warming up to the track when I did the quali pace program, so I feel like I could definitely have squeezed a bit more pace out of the tyres than I managed to get out of it. You know, probably around a second or so. It wouldn't have been good enough for me to top the timesheets or anything, but definitely to make a much better account of myself than I did, I think was possible. But you know, it's fine, and hopefully we can still have a good qualifying session now. I feel a bit more warmed up. You know, we've done practice. I did the race strategy program. Now I feel like I'm a bit more dialed into the circuit. So yeah, that's pretty nice, and it looks like it's going to be wet for qualifying and the race. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how the weather holds out for the race, because it does look like there's going to be a bit of dry weather in there as well. But it is definitely raining as we move into the start of qualifying. I think looking at it, it's probably full wet conditions. It looks very wet on track at the moment. So yeah, that's going to add an extra level of difficulty to me trying to get out of Q1. You know, I always struggle a bit more in the wet compared to the AI. So we'll see where we go, but it might be a short qualifying for me. And we'll see what we do. We go out on the full wets to begin with. It's a 126.3. We're faster than some people, but not very many. You know, we're still slower than a Williams and stuff like that. So I think we're going to need to find a bit of improvement. But the track is ramping up all the time. And when we do our second run, we improve by over 1 second. Will this be enough to get us out of Q1? I think it probably will. We cross the line, and it's a 125.1. And that is good enough to see us through in P12. So nothing remarkable, but we're through, and that's the thing that really matters here, right? As long as we're through, I don't really give a monkeys whether it's P1 or P15. You know, as long as we're through, it doesn't make a difference. Alonso actually tops the timesheets, but it's pretty close. It's 6/10 to the top, and I'm in 12th. So maybe if I can find even more improvement through the ensuing laps, we could be seeing a better performance than I think. Maybe we could be into Q3 after all. Still full wet conditions as we come out to the beginning of Q1, and when we come up to the line, it's a 124.1, which is initially fast enough to see us go on to the top of the timesheets, although I imagine we probably won't stay there for too long, especially with the track getting drier all the time. And yeah, lo and behold, I'm in 16th when I come out on the intermediate tyres, which is now the tyre of choice. But yeah, the track has improved by quite a lot, and as we cross the line, is it good enough to see us into Q3? It is. We're in P5, and that is a fantastic result. So yeah, we make our way into Q3, but the shock result of that by far was the fact that Alex Albon is out in P15, no less. So that's probably any chance of him scoring points out the window without some incredible masterclass of a strategy that he could try and pull in the race. I just don't see how I don't see how it's going to be possible for him to come back from this one. I've got to be honest. But you know, I've been wrong about these things before. I was wrong about it in I can't remember which race it was now, but one where he started outside the points and managed to fight his way back. Track still drying out. It's a 120.7 as we kick off the Q3 runs. And we'll probably have time for one more run still on the intermediate tyres, but the track is definitely drying out. You know, I don't think we were too far away from dry conditions by the time that I got out on track. So whilst I'm in P10 at the moment, I am improving by over 2 seconds at the moment. So I think this is going to be sort of into the 118s, maybe even the 117s. You know, we're looking pretty good as we rounded the final corner. We come up to the line. It's a 118.0, and it's good enough to put us P2. This might be the best qualifying I've ever had in Monaco.
We're all ready for tomorrow's race, but before we begin, let's have a quick look at those who'll be fronting the grid. Russell, Robinson and Lando Norris. Goodbye for now then, but really we're just getting started. Make sure to join us again for Lights Out tomorrow.
Not only were we P2, we were only a 10th off of George Russell as well, so I think we might have been in with a shot of pole there if I'd have done a slightly more put together lap. But you know, we can have as many, you know, ifs and buts and maybes if we want to, but that doesn't really solve anything. You know, we're just gonna get hung up on what could have been if we do that. So I'm not gonna dwell on that too much, and we'll see maybe in the race if it's dry, perhaps we can get a good start and try and challenge Russell into Saint-Devote and try and take the lead of the race. I think it's going to be difficult, but it might be possible. You know, I've made up positions on the opening lap in Monaco before. Obviously, that was the year I started 5th. I think it was season 3. Started 5th, ended up coming home in 2nd. After making up 3 positions on the opening lap. That was a fantastic start to the race. So it could happen. I think Albon's going to have a lot to do from P15, but you know, if he can make up a few positions as well, that would be pretty good. It doesn't look like the rain is coming till very late in the race. So yeah, there could be lots of opportunities for us to do something quite special here as we get into the race.
A proper road race, and in the true meaning of the word. That's how Mr. Monaco, the late great Graham Hill, once described this iconic event. The cars we drive have come a long way in the intervening half-century, but still we race on those same public roads beside the Mediterranean. There's no victory more coveted than that of the Monaco Grand Prix. The astonishing Circuit de Monaco is, for all intents and purposes, virtually unchanged since its inaugural race back in 1929. The faster cars of today ensure the 19 corners past the casino and along the seafront remain as thrilling as ever. A 2.1-mile lap here takes us around an entire country, yet never more than inches from the race-ending barriers. It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. Robinson lines up on pole position, and Lando Norris lines up alongside. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Sainz, Gasly, Charles Leclerc and Tsunoda, Fernando Alonso, Oscar Piastri, Verstappen and Mick Schumacher, Russell, Fittipaldi, Kevin Magnussen and Ricciardo, Albon, Joe, Robert Schwartzman and Théo Pourchaire, Stroll, Lundgaard, Ocon and Nicholas Latifi. It's almost time for the lights to go out, so let's head down to the track where preparations are underway. A warm welcome to Anthony Davidson, who's beside me in the commentary box today. We should talk about Williams. What do you make of their performance so far this season?
Well, the atmosphere within that team seems very positive at the moment. Everyone seems like they're in great spirits and having a lot of fun doing what they do, and that's definitely contributed to the performances we've seen.
After the points finished last race, let's aim to keep that momentum going.
Well, it seems that someone up there is looking down on me because George Russell has taken a 10-place grid penalty, which means I am starting on pole position in this race, which is actually the most astonishing thing I have ever seen. We are in the best spot that you could possibly be in for this race. It is so difficult to overtake here, and Lord knows I can defend if I need to. So I think this might be the best and maybe only shot I will ever get to win the Monaco Grand Prix in this career mode. So I am going to get my elbows out like you wouldn't believe in order to make it happen. you know, you may not agree with my methods necessarily, but trust me, when you're in this position, you want it more than anything in the world. So yeah, all we have to do is get a good start, and it should be in our hands as the lights come on. And the lights go out, and it takes us a little while to get away, but I think it took Lando Norris a little bit longer. So we get off the line well, and we lead into the first corner of Monaco, and that is the hard work already out the way. You can see that Sainz and Leclerc are tangling a little bit, and that has caused them to be held up. So the only driver I need to worry about immediately is Lando Norris, who is only a few tenths off the back of me at the moment, but you know, we'll see. We'll figure out pretty quickly, I imagine, where he's faster than me and where he's not. Tyres are still not fully warmed up by the looks of things at the moment. I'm taking a little while to get around these corners, but it's absolutely fine for the time being. Obviously, we've got a full load of fuel on the back of the car as well, so there's a lot to think about at the moment. But we've almost gapped him by a second as we come on the run down to the chicane here, and we'll see if we can maybe continue to extend that advantage over him. I dare say he probably will be faster than me over the course of an entire lap, but I've been wrong about this kind of thing before, so yeah, maybe here's hoping. The one thing I'm going to try and avoid doing more than anything this race is definitely the thing that always happens. I'm going to take the couple of chicanes on this track very carefully to make sure that I don't get any floor damage. Sainz is in the pits already, so yeah, I guess he must have got some damage from his tangle with Leclerc. And yeah, we're just going to try and avoid damage for as long as I can. So I'm keeping that part of my MFD up, the telemetry that shows the car damage and the tyre wear and all that kind of thing, just to check, you know, if I have got damage to maybe start driving even more conservatively than I already am. It should be fairly easy to defend from Norris, I imagine. You see that I can pull away from him quite a lot through the sort of end of the first sector / start of the second sector. And then it's only really in the third sector and the start of the first sector that he sort of brings it back towards me. But as we move on to lap 11 now, things are pretty comfortable for us at the moment. But this is the closest I think Norris has been so far, so I think we are going to come under pressure from him. And you can see he tries to go around the outside at Saint-Devote, really can't go there, and expect it to work out for you, and indeed it doesn't work out for him on this occasion. So that is yeah, that is a failed attempt at overtaking from Lando Norris, and probably the first true pressure that he's put on us all throughout this race. But it won't be the last, let me tell you that much, because you know, he is pretty rapid. And as we move on to the end of lap 14, the beginning of lap 15, I think he's probably going to try and have another go at us here. We'll see which way he decides to go this time. It's going to be up the inside at Saint-Devote. Can I hold off around the outside? I just about can. And yeah, we're going to keep hold of P1 for the time being. But man, this is incredibly stressful scenario to find yourself in at the moment. You know, it's clear to me that Norris is faster. Not only Norris, but also Leclerc and probably Gasly as well, right? There's a bit of a train forming up behind at the moment, which I need to be aware of. You know, I don't think I'm going to be under any pressure from any of these guys, apart from Norris, because it's really, really hard to overtake at this circuit, especially when you drive very similarly to your competitors, like all the AI do with one another. I think Norris has got a bigger opportunity here, tries to go around the outside again. We go wheel to wheel through Saint-Devote, but it's still going to be me who wins out on this occasion. Like I said, I'm going to do everything in my power to try and defend this position if I absolutely need to. We're only a couple laps away from the pit window, and this is kind of going to be the make or break thing now, because if Norris and I don't pit on the same lap, then one of us could undercut the other or overcut the other, or vice versa. We'll find out. So I've come in and Norris has stayed out, so he's maybe trying an overcut on me. The overcut very powerful in this game, of course, because the tyres take so long to get up to temperature. So yeah, we may be in trouble here. If he takes the lead, it's going to be very difficult to get past him on track. So we move on to the hard compounded tyre, and we're going to see where we come out in relation to Norris in just a second. But before then, we're going to see where we are on track, if anyone's going to come out ahead of us or what's going on. I wonder if Latifi's going to be ahead of us. It would have been nice to get down to the air gap, but it's not meant to be. So maybe Latifi will hold us up a little bit on the following lap. It remains to be seen. It looks like he's probably a little bit too far ahead to really pose too much of a threat, unless he's really slow on those medium tyres. I don't think we're going to have too much of an issue. And indeed, it's absolutely fine, but Norris did come out ahead of us through the pit stop phase, so we're going to have to try and do everything we can to get back past him. We dive up the inside at the hairpin, and that was a very, I don't know, questionable move from me. You can hear we made a lot of contact, but no damage on either of us, surprisingly. Let's have a look at that one again and see what you guys think. I noticed he was going slow, so I just decided it was now or never if I wanted to send it up the inside. It looked fairly clean on the replay. You know, there was clear contact there, but I don't really think one of us was more to blame than the other for that one. But let me know what you think. Anyway, now we'll talk about Alex Albon briefly, who wasn't running in the points, and I mean, this is kind of a free hit the way I take it. You know, you're always going to have DNFs in a season, so why not take them in a race that you're you know, you're not running in the points or anything like that. I think Alex Albon maybe lucked out a little bit there that he didn't break down when he was sort of leading a race like he has been on multiple occasions this season, and he's always closed it out on those occasions. So yeah, that's you know, I don't think he'll be too disappointed about that. Lap 30, we move on. You can see we got a bit of a corner cutting warning there, but yeah, ever since I got ahead of Norris, I've not really had to worry too much about him getting me back, and it was pretty much just smooth sailing from here on out. I'm worried that he might close me down towards the end of the race, perhaps, as quite often happens when I am comfortably leading a race. But yeah, I don't know. That move was a little bit questionable that I made on him, but you know, maybe it was okay. Who can say? Anyway, lap 35 now, and I think you can see that the rain is not too far out. But I think regardless of what happens, even if it starts raining sort of this lap, I don't think it's going to come down too hard that it would be worth pitting before the end of the race. So whatever happens now, I'm going to try and stay out on this tyre, but it could potentially cost me the win, because Norris will get better traction on the exits of corners if it's a wet track and I'm on dry tyres. That's just, you know, how the AI works in this game. So we just need to hold on for a few more laps and hope that the rain doesn't come. I'm pretty proud of myself in the sense that I actually have managed to avoid floor damage for this whole time, and we've only got a few laps left to go, so even if I did get it now, I don't think it would cost me too much performance that would affect my race. You know, I've got enough battery in reserve that I could try and make up any kind of deficit that I have with the floor damage by just burning a bit of extra battery. And all in all, yeah, it's just been a really solid race. I you know, was leading out of turn 1, and I've not really had to worry about anything after that. The move I made on Lando Norris, you know, whether you agree with it or not, it's been made. That's happened. I'm sure that McLaren will protest it after the race and all that kind of thing, as I do finally get a tiny bit of floor damage, but it's only a minor little bit of damage. I don't think it's going to affect my my performance too much, hopefully. And yeah, now we round the corner onto the final lap of the Grand Prix, and this has been a pretty comfortable drive. You know, we've been attacked by Norris a little bit. It just said the rain is a few laps out, but it is coming, so I don't have to worry about that. And yeah, we didn't really have to worry about anything other than the time that Norris did get ahead through the pit stop phase. So as far as races go, I would say this one's been pretty comfortable, and yeah, unbelievable, really. I never would have thought that this would ever happen, especially not at this stage in career mode. But as we've now rounded the final corner and we come on the run up to the line, we're going to cross it to win the Monaco Grand Prix for the first time. And I think maybe the first time I've ever done that in any F1 career mode ever. So yeah, I'm chuffed to bits with that. And, and I'm going to be celebrating long after this video is over.
Can't fault the performance on the track today. A well-deserved victory. And talk to me. What do you think it was that sealed the win for them?
Well, this was a real team victory. They put together a solid strategy today that appeared well suited to the conditions out on track. The driver did everything that was expected of them in the moment to really execute the team's plan to perfection. A shining example of how F1 really is a team sport.
The faces on our top three look so incredibly happy as they make their way up to the podium. A much-deserved victory and a brilliant performance from them all.
I think Lando Norris will be feeling a little bit aggrieved about that move that has relegated him down into second place, but you know, this was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. I said at the start of the race I was going to take any opportunity I had to make sure I won this race, even if it meant driving a little bit, you know, against the grain of what you might expect. So that's what I did. I don't regret doing it, and we are now a race winner at Monaco.
And now let's take a look at the drivers' standings. Robinson takes over the lead of the Drivers' Championship. So, Anthony Davidson, who would you rank as your driver of the day?
Charles Leclerc showed exactly how to manage yourself out on the track today. He was almost flawless out there. Incredible stuff.
Let's move on to the constructors. The current leaders continue to extend their lead at the top. And with that, we wrap up another weekend of motorsport action. But with more races lined up, be sure to join us when we come back with more Formula One.
So, not only did we continue to lead the Constructors' Championship, but we also have actually managed to take the lead of the Drivers' Championship, which is not something I was ever expecting was going to happen off the back of this race, I've got to be honest. You know, I was thinking Albon would probably qualify and finish ahead of me in this race and extend the gap even further. And then when I knew that I was getting through to Q3 and he wasn't, I thought, okay, well, I doubt that we'll score enough points to usurp him in the championship. But somehow we've done that, and after Monaco, we are leading the championship. Having had 2 DNFs in the first 2 races, we have taken the lead of the Drivers' Championship on race number 8. We have had a fantastic run of form. We've had 4 wins in the last 5 races, I think, which is incredible in itself. And yeah, I honestly can't believe that it's come to this, but it has, and I really hope that we can keep this momentum going. We've got Canada coming up next. It's not one of my strongest circuits, but it's definitely not a weak circuit of mine by any stretch of the imagination. You know, it's just a circuit I struggle with a little bit. I get a little bit annoyed at the corners. It's one of the only tracks I've ever picked up a track limits penalty at. You may remember that battle with Schwartzman I had back in, I think it was season 3, where I picked up a track limits penalty there. So I do find it quite tough to drive, and I'm hoping that I might be able to avoid having any hiccups in the race next time. But yeah, I really hope that we can continue this really strong run of form we've been on. You know, it feels like every championship I do at the moment is always sort of you know, it looks like it's going to be comfortable, and then it slowly slips away from me. And this has been pretty much the exact opposite so far. You know, I even, you know, race number 2 in Saudi Arabia, when I DNF'd from that race, I titled that video, "Is the championship over already?" And the championship was by no means over by any stretch of the imagination, because I've had a win at some of my, you know, most dreaded circuits, including Imola, including Monaco. You know, if I keep up that run of form, that is going to be there's going to be a number of circuits that I don't usually win at where I'm going to claim a win. You know, Singapore, Monza, Hungary, Japan, all those kinds of circuits that I really struggle with quite a lot. I could suddenly be getting good results there as well if this trend continues. But you know, we won't find out until this happens. This might just be a bit of a flash in the pan result, and maybe I don't win again for the whole season. Who knows? I hope that's not the case, but it almost happened last season. You know, I won 4 races very quickly, and then only won like 1 or 2 more for the rest of the season after that. So yeah, it's still early days, and anything could happen. But I'm still extremely chuffed with that win. And like I said, I really hope that we can keep this going and continue to extend this lead in the championship. It was lucky for us that Albon didn't have a good result today, but we're still leading the constructors, so no hard feelings. But that will be it for this video. If you enjoyed, please make sure you like and subscribe, and hopefully I will see you in the next one.